The average overdraft in the UK is about £200 to £3,000. And according to Finder, about 30% of us Brits dip into our overdraft every year. So like it says in the title, today I'm going to go through what I would do to get out of an overdraft. Feel free to copy the principles, take from it, use it to your own advantage, as I know we're all in different places. So a quick question for you. How much do you think you'll be donating to the bank every year if you were in an overdraft of £250 each month? This figure is going to shock you. It is a minimum of £650, and this is not with the interest being compounded at all. For me, seeing how much I was donating to the bank for free every year was enough to motivate me to come out of my overdraft. Now, the figure I gave you of £650, that is based on this year's average interest rate of 21.9%. So this year, if you're still in your overdraft, that's how much you're going to be roughly donating to the bank. So the first thing I would do is set myself a realistic deadline. This deadline would need to include everything that I have planned within that period of time. So for example, if my deadline was 6 months, I would look at, okay, what are the big expenses that are coming up within the next 6 months that I cannot avoid? And like so, if it was 12 months or 18 months. So like I said in the title, what if I was in an overdraft of £1,600? I'd mostly set myself a realistic goal of 12 to 18 months, but I'd have milestones every 6 months and monthly check-ins to make sure that I'm hitting those goals. And I'll look at what I would need to be very strict on, have a tight budget on areas that I cannot avoid. So for example, if there's a family event coming up, us Nigerians, we like Ashoebi, I'll be very strict. Or if there's things like the children's school uniforms that I absolutely have to buy, I'll look at, can I get it cheaper? Looking at ways to reduce costs. So once I've set myself like targets, so for example, within the next 6 months, make sure the overdraft is only £1,000. By the end of the year, make sure it's 500, and then before 18 months, make sure it's completely gone. The next thing I'll do is analyze my spending. I'll look at what I could cut out or cheaper or free alternatives. For example, Netflix, I'd mostly cut that out completely and maybe just have Netflix for like 3 times a year. Or if it was a gym pass, I'll cut the gym pass and decide to work out and do exercise at home. So when I was in my overdraft many years ago, this is before I had all of these banking apps that would break down and categorize everything for me. I listed out everything that I spent within the last 3 months and categorized them. And what I found actually shocked me. I realized that due to my disorganization in the mornings, I was spending £60 a month, which racked up to £720 every year. So back then, every day I would go and get a £3 meal deal for lunch from Tesco's. Now this is back in the day when we had to go to the office 5 days a week, and also when meal deal was £3. It's no longer £3 anymore. Now in my mind, it's just £3. That is really, really cheap. But when you're in an overdraft of £1,600, that is not cheap. So I decided to start bringing in a packed lunch to work rather than buying a meal deal, and only have a meal deal if I was in an absolute emergency. Like for example, back then I was doing a drop off, taking the kids to nursery in the morning. If I had a serious meltdown then and I couldn't make my packed lunch, then I would buy a Tesco meal deal. But otherwise, it was always a packed lunch from home. So just before I move on to the systems I'd use to get out of an overdraft, if you're new here, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're returning and you've not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps out this new channel. As you know, I release videos weekly on using agile techniques to achieve our goals, and also give you updates on my side hustles. So after analysing my spending habits and realising, the small fortune I've been donating to Tesco's, I decided to set myself monthly goals and also rewards. It's good to reward yourself to keep yourself motivated each time you hit those goals. So aside from the main 6 months milestones, I had like a monthly tracker to check that I was on track to meet those 6 months milestones. So another thing I would do right now for 2024, if I was in an overdraft, is I would actually look for ways to actually freeze the interest rate. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if I could change my current account to one that gives me a period of interest free on my overdraft for, let's say, 12 months, and I'll move to that one, Other things you can do is maybe switch bank accounts. I know there are some banks that give you cash back of up to £100 or more for switching to them. So all the things we've talked about so far were ways to actually save money. To speed up the process, I would want to start looking into ways of actually making money. So right now in the UK, you can make up to £1,000 tax-free as a side hustle, and that is outside of your regular 9 to 5. So I would take full advantage of this and see what I could sell and see what I could rent. And finally, the last piece of advice. Now, this last piece is so important that if we do not do this last piece, it could actually unravel all the hard work we've done before. And that is to do with our mindset and actually overcoming the whole idea of FOMO, fear of missing out, which could be the reason why we were in the overdraft to begin with. Now, to overcome FOMO, your motivation to come out of your overdraft has to be much more bigger than your fear of missing out. Now, for me, when I realized how much money I was giving to the bank for free every year, I realized that that money was enough for me to go on a small holiday abroad for the weekend. It was enough money for the 5 of us as a family to go out on a day trip. I realized that, nope, things have to change. So to help you set and achieve your financial goals, you can watch my video on SMART goals. Although it's Amazon based, the principles are the same. Use it to help you set a SMART goal so you can get out of your overdraft. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I hit my next video. I hope you found this useful. Please like the video and I'll see you in the next one.